Hey, thanks for being here. By the way, I love that you're listening to this. I really appreciate it. I can see that consistently there's a certain number of people that download the episode every day. These episodes get more listens, I guess, in the future as well. But I guess it's really nice to know there's many of you out there that are listening on the go on the daily. So thank you. And I'm sharing that because today the Queensland government are going to announce the finalised plans for the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games that are being held in Brisbane, which is where I'm from. And I just wanted to have some commentary around this. I mean, every single day, ever since the Olympics was announced in Brisbane, every time you listen to local radio or read the local newspapers, there's just debates around the Olympics. It's just back and forth. It's in a ping pong match it's very political between the Labor and the LNP governments. And as part of the LNP winning the election last year, they said they'd do a 100-day review on the venues, get external feedback and consultants in, and finally make a decision. So that's being released today. Now, I'm not going to talk actually about the venues, but what I want to talk about is just the media commentary on this, because I think it's been a little bit annoying, to be honest. What I mean by that is the media overreaction to probably two things. The first thing is when Brisbane elected to have the Olympics, obviously they submitted a proposal outlining what they were going to do, how they were going to reuse infrastructure, what new infrastructure was going to be built. So that was all outlined in the proposal. And of course, you submit that, but it's life, it's the world we're in, things change. And the media's been going on and on about how bad these changes are, how we're not sticking to the plan. I think it's ridiculous. If you have, for anyone, whether you have a business in life, you've got to be responsive to market conditions, things that change. And that's what they're doing now. So they've reevaluated it. There's going to be a decision made today. And yeah, there's been a lot of criticism just around the fact that we're not sticking to the plan. And actually, a while ago, I remember chatting to an estimator, and he worked in a global construction business. And he was saying estimating is the hardest job in the world, because you're estimating at one point in time. But as you know, the prices of resources change, prices of items, even the price of a nail or a price of steel, all these things shift. The price of labor, of actually getting people to help. It's really difficult. And that's why often projects tend to blow out. So I think the fact that there has been some reevaluation actually is a good thing. It's okay that we're not sticking to a plan. So that's one thing I wanted to share. The second thing is I'm always reading around the embarrassment. Brisbane's going to be the biggest embarrassment. We're going to be the embarrassment of the world. Does it really matter? Do people actually care that much? I mean, look at the Paris Olympics. The water that was going to be used for the open water swim, if I recall from memory, I'm not going to Google it, I'm just going to keep going. Wasn't that toxic? And they only got the pH levels to a right standard within a few hours of the race even commencing, or the night before. Maybe I'm exaggerating there, but that's embarrassing, but really no one cares. They got it together. Every Olympic Games seems to work, even though there's a lot of tension. And they always talk about it, even with World Cups, they'll look at the stadiums and say, it's not ready. But you realise that by kickoff, the stadiums are ready. And I think it's the same thing with these Olympic Games. It's part of the process. And I feel over the next 9 years, all I'm going to be hearing about is how we're not ready. But things are happening in the background. We'll make it work. And actually, I was reading here, Christoph Dubby, the Olympic Games Executive Director, actually shared, size does not matter. What really is important is to consider the legacy, indicating the IOC's flexible approach to venue selection. And look, this is a tough, we are following the LA Olympics. They have got Tom Cruise promoting their stuff. They're a tough act to follow. I don't think, if Brisbane even just runs a legitimately traditional event, it's all about the legacy. I think we all just need to relax and trust that we have 9 years. The right decision is going to be made. Any decision is actually better than no decision at the moment. So let's get a decision in place and work towards that. The other thing around the embarrassment to the venues, does it really matter? I think the fact that Brisbane is hosting it is a complete bonus. The event only lasts for 4 weeks. Even the idea of building purpose-built infrastructure for an event that only goes for 4 weeks just doesn't seem right, particularly in the world that we're in now in terms of we've got a lot of people that are homeless, and where's the infrastructure for them? Where's the housing for them? So I just think there's a lot of crazy attention on this. I would rather have people homed and that not being an embarrassment than having events held in existing venues that are actually okay. They're fit for purpose. They do the job. We don't need whiz-bangy venues. And, there were some ideas around moving the tennis to Melbourne and having it there, moving the kayaking, I think, down to Sydney. And the media, again, I'm just using them quite broadly. The media was saying, oh, it's terrible, how embarrassing that we're hosting these events in other parts of the east coast of Australia. I mean, I would love to see the Olympics kind of move to what World Cups are doing and have a host nation instead of a host city. First of all, you get that really festive atmosphere across the whole country. And secondly, it just reduces the pressure on a particular city. I understand that it's contained in everything else, but as things move on, as we evolve, surely that's a good idea. I mean, I even love what's happening with the next World Cup. It's being held in Canada, in the US, and in Mexico. So 3 nations are sharing that. Like, it would have been great if we could share this opportunity with New Zealand, reduce the pressure, use the venues. I think that would be a lot smarter. And I don't think it's embarrassing either to suggest that as an idea. So anyway, I'm sorry for this rant, but I wanted to address it now. I'm not going to talk about it for the next 9 years unless something comes out. But I just wanted to double click those 2 points. A, it's okay to pivot from the original plan. In fact, you should be very responsive to what is going on now and look ahead to the impacts in the future. And 2, the embarrassment thing, no one really cares that much. I'm sure Brisbane will put on an adequate, if not better, Olympic Games. We don't need to be the best. We are Brisbane, Australia. It's okay if we're not. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you're in Australia and you've heard enough of the whole venue situation, reach out, let me know. Otherwise, I'll speak to you tomorrow.